Or in this one, 3 tips for more attractive skin. Number 1, less is more. Try to avoid extremely complex skincare routines, those that have a lot of actives. There's a lot of people that have many different skincare products, many different actives, but usually you will notice that they're not that strong. These people will often not even use prescription grade actives, so they'll have a lot of low strength vitamin C, niacinamide, stuff like that. And the thing is, once you start using actually strong actives, especially the ones that are prescription grade, you will realize that you cannot even have a lot of them. Because strong actives, like truly strong ones, they tend to dry out your skin. And so you can really have 5 or 10 different skincare actives if every single one is actually powerful. So most people would actually benefit from having only a few actual actives and to try to have a minimal skincare routine that does the vast majority of the outcomes with only a small part of the effort. And also the less ingredients you use, the more likely you are to actually keep up that routine, because it doesn't matter if you're using 10 different ingredients if 1 month later or 3 months later, you're no longer using the same routine. So if using less products means that you're going to be more consistent, then that's going to matter more than having an extremely complex routine. Try Korean SPFs if you haven't. So Korean sunscreens and Japanese ones, they are not actually the best when it comes to protection. If you actually compare filters, the best filters on the planet, they tend to be patented and they tend to be from European companies. And they tend to be quite expensive as well. But the problem is what they optimize for. If you want the best SPFs, if you want the best filters, there's something that you sacrifice, which is usually daily life optimization. So these best filters on the planet from European companies, typically, the SPFs are pretty heavy in comparison to SPFs from East Asian countries. So if you want to use the best filters on the planet, especially from, for example, European companies, you ideally need to double cleanse every single day. And it's pretty hard to remove because in the formulations, they typically have a lot of lipids and alcohols to try to mix everything together. But then, of course, the problem is it's hard to remove. And it usually has a shiny finish. And yeah, it's not that practical compared to, for example, Korean sunscreens. And in Korea, what they realized is the vast majority of people don't even use sunscreen that often, if at all. And so they try to optimize for practicality. And it worked because it's extremely common to use sunscreen in Korea, in South Korea at least. So yeah, they may not be the best ones on paper because they don't have the best patented UV filter, but they still have pretty modern ones that are extremely good and have the vast majority of the benefits. And yeah, they're easier to use, they're more invisible, they're easier to remove, and all of that means you're more likely to actually use them daily. And it's better to use a sunscreen that is 80% perfect every single day than one that is 100% perfect and only use it every 2 days. So if you have problems with consistency when it comes to using skincare, but especially sunscreen, then you may want to try Korean or Japanese ones. And personally, I've tried a lot of different ones. And I recently made a post on my Skull community talking about what are the best ones in my opinion and from my experience. So if you're curious, go check it out. It's the first link in the pinned comment. Number 3, use products that you actually like. So the logic here is kind of similar. It's pretty easy to want the best out of everything, to have the best products, the best actives, the best brands, etc. But eventually you realize there's nothing that matters more than consistency. It's better to use a 7 out of 10 product daily than it is to use one that is 10 out of 10 that you cannot use daily because you don't like it as much. For example, maybe there's one sunscreen that is the best on the market, but you don't like it because you don't like the texture, it's difficult to remove, etc. And then maybe there's one that is 7 out of 10, hypothetically, but you like the texture, it's easy to remove, it's practical, you like the finish, you just like it in general, and you can actually see yourself using that daily. In that case, that's going to be much better because nothing matters more than consistency when it comes to skincare and sunscreen and actives. So choose consistency over perfectionism. If you like a certain product, even if it's not the most powerful, or even if it doesn't have the best filters, that's still going to be way better than a perfect product that you don't see yourself using daily. So try to prioritize consistency over perfectionism. And by the way, if you want to know what I believe is the best skincare routine and know which sunscreens I recommend and what in my opinion is the best sunscreen that you can use, click the link in the pinned comment and join my Skull community. I share everything on there.